everyone, I'm Millie and I run my own small business called Prints by Millie. This is my first ever YouTube video. I've wanted to start it for what feels like ages, and I've finally started a channel. I just think it'll be really nice for like my followers and customers to see more kind of behind the scenes action of what goes on like day to day for running Prints by Millie or any small business really. Obviously it's different for every small business owner, but I just thought it would be fun. And yeah, my first video is going to be a Q&A. So I asked on Instagram for some questions from my followers and I got quite a few through. So I'm going to go through them, try and answer them all. And yeah, hopefully you'll get to know a little bit more about me and what I do. So the first question I've got is, where did you learn your craft? So Prints by Millie actually started in the first lockdown in the UK. So that was 2020. The first lockdown happened around March time. And it was a couple of months after that I bought myself an iPad and an Apple Pencil. Just out of boredom really. I've always been a lover of art and drawing, but I'd never done it digitally before. So I bought myself an iPad and the Apple Pencil, and the first thing I drew was my sister's puppy Roo. If I can find a picture, I'll put it here now. That was the first thing I drew. I put it on Instagram and I had a few messages from people asking if I could do their pets for them. So I kind of started out as a pet portrait business, and it's now evolved into a wall art prints, greeting cards, stickers, stationery business. So it's evolved quite a lot. I'll leave all my links down below as well to my website and things like that, and I'm also on Etsy. But yeah, it started in the lockdown and I basically just taught myself how to draw digitally using Procreate on the iPad through like YouTube tutorials and things like that. Okay, the next question is, do you do this full time? So I do call this my full-time job because I literally do it every day, but I do also teach music in primary schools mainly, 2 days a week as well on the side. I do that because I am a trained teacher. I've got qualified teacher status. I did a PGCE, and as soon as I came out of that I'd already started running Prints by Millie, but I wanted to put my like teaching skills to use as well. So I do teach 2 days on the side too. But even on my teaching days, like when I get home from work, I'm then working on Prints by Millie for like the evening as well. So it is my full-time job, but I do have a job on the side as well. Someone else has asked me, what paper do you use to print on? So up until recently I printed onto matte art paper, but I've really recently, like within the past few weeks, changed to a satin art paper. So I've got 2 A5 prints here that are printed out on this sheet of A4. And hopefully you can see that there's like a little sheen to it. So it's got a satiny finish. So we've got the Just Peachy print here and Feeling Fresh print there. And obviously when people order them, I cut them down to size. So these are 2 A5 prints here. But yeah, I use a 280 GSM satin art paper. That's what I'm currently using. For my greeting cards, I use a different paper. It's actually a card, and it's 300 GSM matte card. So hopefully you can see, if it focuses, it has a really subtle, like textured finish to it. I've actually got some cards printed out here. They're not scored and folded yet, but hopefully you can see the finish. So this is the I Appreciate You card. Yeah, and it's just got a really subtle textured finish. Hopefully you can see it there. So obviously when that's all folded, that's ready to go. But yeah, I use a few different types of paper for different things. Okay, the next question is, what's your least favourite thing about running your business? I had a little think about this one, and I think my least favourite thing about running a business is probably postage prices. Royal Mail, I swear, just keep putting the price up and up and up. I know everything's going up at the minute, but postage prices are not the one, let me tell you. Like most of my orders I send in this size envelope, so it's an A5 size envelope, so it's just like a standard letter. And to send one of those, it costs the grand total of 68 pence. Which doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, I've cut Look at my finger there. Bet that was a nice view for you all. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but that soon adds up when you're sending like so many orders a week. And don't even get me started on large letters and small parcels. But yeah, obviously as long as you like accommodate for that postage price in your like product pricing and things, it's not too bad. Postage prices, not the one for me. Okay, someone else has asked me any advice for anyone that wants to start making prints. And this kind of links to another question I got as well, which was any tips when starting out as a small business? I've been through so much ink and paper to try and get it right. I'm still struggling. So again, I feel like they're talking about the issues of paper and things like that. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started Prints by Millie, I must have tried out at least 10 to 15 types of paper, and that was just for my prints, let alone greeting cards when I started doing them. Obviously it depends like what finish you want. So if you want a matte finish, there's quite a lot of options for those, but I would suggest going with at least a GSM of about 200 so that it's nice and thick. Sorry, someone's ringing me. Yeah, going with a thickness of at least 200 GSM just so it's nice thick quality, so when the customer receives it they feel like they're getting a high quality print. And in terms of ink, I would always suggest whatever printer you get, so I've got a Canon printer, I would always suggest buying the appropriate ink to go with that printer. So I use Canon ink for my Canon printer, because if you use compatibles, you'll find that the prints fade quite quickly. So over like a year the print will probably have faded quite a lot even without being in direct sunlight. So you need to make sure you're using the proper ink for your printer, and they usually come with a guarantee saying that it won't fade at all, and I've not had any issues at all with using Canon ink. So yeah, I really recommend doing that. So basically if you're going through a lot of ink and things like that, maybe the issue's not the ink, maybe it's the printer. So maybe try, if you've got the budget, to find an alternative printer, and then hopefully the ink will subsequently be of the standard you would like it to be as well. In terms of going back to that first initial question, which was, I'm just trying to find it, any advice for anyone that wants to start making prints? Obviously I've covered like paper and ink and printers and all things like that. Honestly, I would just suggest going for it. If you're worried about not having a niche to the type of prints that you're making, if you're worried about your style probably not being at the exact point you would like it to be, continue working on it as you are making these prints and putting them out there. I feel like running a small business and making prints and designing things is such a long process. Like, I started in 2020, so 2 years ago now, and my style has developed so much since I first started. But obviously if I hadn't started 2 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I think just start, get on the right track. If you feel like your style's changing, that's fine. Yeah, but just roll with it. It's a journey, running a small business. It's not going to be plain sailing, you're going to have bumps in the road, but everybody needs to start somewhere. So don't worry too much about it, just get started and you'll have your own unique business journey, and in probably 1 or 2 years time down the line you'll be so thankful that you started when you did. Okay, the next question then is, I've done a few markets which haven't gone great. Lots of people walking past saying they love my items but not buying. Are there any tips to making more sales? So those of you who follow me on Instagram or who've been to my markets this year will know that I've just started doing like craft markets and things like that this year. So I actually had my first one on the 15th of May, so not that long ago at all really. So I'm probably not the best person to ask this because I'm not the most experienced when it comes to markets, but I have done probably 7 or 8 markets so far this year, so I do have some experience in this. This person's saying lots of people are walking past saying they love their items but they're not buying. So my initial thought about this is try not to be disheartened. It might just be that the markets you've been to so far, the customers and people who are coming in to look at this, the market that you're at, they might just not be your target demographic. I feel like you really need to try and hone down on what markets are bringing in your ideal customers. For example, I did one in Lincoln, I think it was my my third market that I did, and it was in a museum, and a lot of the customers who were coming in there were kind of in the older age range. And I feel like my demographic, like when I look at my insights on Instagram and things, my target demographic is about 25 to 35 year olds and a bit younger than that as well. So when I went to that market, I didn't do anywhere near as good as I've done at all the others that I've done. And it's just a learning curve. So now I know kind of what markets work for me, because this year's been a little bit of an experiment, let's say, because obviously I've never done markets before. So I was just trying out as many as I could this year, and then I know which ones to book again for, like, for next year and years after that and things. So your first year is always going to be a bit more tricky. But you're saying lots of people are walking past and not necessarily buying, they're just saying they love the items. So you're probably already doing this already, but a really big tip I'd give you is make sure you're stood up, smiling. Always say hello to the customer when they come up and they're taking an interest in your products. If you feel like you can kind of see what they're looking at, maybe tell them a little bit more information about that product. So for example, if someone comes up to my stall and they're looking at my greeting cards, I'll say, these are all made from recycled card and they've all got their own little puns on them, and I'll pull one out so they can read the pun underneath, and then you might get a little laugh from them, and then they think, oh, they're great, and then they'll look at a few more, and then most of the time they end up buying one. So you've just got to kind of judge the situation, judge the customer as well. Some customers you kind of get the feeling they don't really want to be spoken to or sold to. So you've just got to kind of step back a little, because you don't want to be too salesy and too like in their face. But yeah, just make yourself really present, smile, say hello, give them a little bit of information about the product they're looking at, all things like that, and then hopefully you'll get a sale from them. Okay, another question I've got is, do you make all of your products yourself? The answer to that is the majority of them yes, but some of them no. So primarily I sell wall art prints. I make them all myself, I design them myself and print them myself as well. Greeting cards, again, they're all printed on demand. I print those, score them, package them, everything. They're all produced by me. Stickers as well. I'll show you a little example because I'm not showing you a sticker yet. So this one's probably the most popular sticker at the minute. It's the Self Love Club sticker, this one. And I do make all these myself as well. So they're printed onto sticker paper, and then I laminate them as well with a, it's like a frosted matte finish, the lamination. Don't know if you can see it very well on here, but it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, but it is matte, it's not glossy. And then I use my Cricut Explore Air 2, I'll put a picture of that here so you know what I'm talking about, and that cuts out the stickers for me, so they're not cut by hand or anything, because that would be very time consuming. So yeah, I make them all myself. Another little example is the Cat Lover sticker. So again, hopefully you can see the finish there, if it's gonna focus. I don't think it is. Come on, there we go. The Cat Lover sticker. And I've got a Dog Lover one as well. Lots of different stickers on the shop, but yeah, they're all made by me too. And I almost forgot, but bookmarks as well, I make these myself too. So they're printed on the same cardstock that I use for my greeting cards. And then I put the little silky tassels on them myself. So this is just one design that's on the shop. This is the Dalmatian print bookmark. And it can come with a pink tassel or a white one. It's your choice. Okay, someone has asked, what's your current favourite product? Currently, I think it has to be the Just Peachy print. So this is one of the new prints that I've released recently. So I came out with a few different kitchen prints, and this is one of them, Just Peachy. Or you could put it in your bathroom as well. But I just love the retro style of this, and like the groovy typography and the colour palette. I just love it. Yeah, that's probably my favourite product at the minute. The next question is, do you prefer using / selling on Etsy or your own website? So if you don't know, I have an Etsy shop and also my own website. I always prefer for people to purchase through my website because obviously on Etsy there's lots of fees that come with those purchases as well. But on the website you only get like a little transaction fee, which is hardly anything really. So I always prefer for people to purchase through the website. But I absolutely love Etsy because it's really easy for people to find me and my products on there. Whereas with your own website, it's really hard to get traffic to your own website because you're relying on Google and things like that. So Etsy is really good for people finding you easily. And still to this day I get the majority of my orders through Etsy. So there's pros and cons to both. I always get really excited when I get a website order because it's like people have found me and my website and not just through Etsy, if that makes sense. But at the same time, every single Etsy order as well I get super happy about. So it just completely depends, like there's pros and cons for both. The biggest con for Etsy is the fees, but the price of my items on Etsy is slightly higher than on my website, and that is to accommodate for some of those Etsy fees. So if you're another small business owner, you've just got to take into consideration those fees. I wouldn't say stay away from Etsy because I think Etsy is absolutely great. It's where the majority of my income comes from, so I can't really say anything that bad about Etsy because I do really love selling on there. But again, getting orders through on the website is always nice because, like I say, they've found you and your products, your website, not through like an external channel, if that makes sense. Also, a massive pro of having your own website is that you can completely customize how it looks. With Etsy you're very restricted as to like how you can change how it looks because it's all laid out in a certain way, whereas on your website you can pretty much do anything you want really. Another question is, did it take so long to have sales on Etsy? I always feel like I want to give up. Firstly, do not give up, and secondly, it took a good few months for me to start getting somewhat consistent sales on Etsy. So I actually opened my Etsy shop, I think it was in August 2020, and I didn't really start making consistent-ish sales until about October. So, well, October, November probably. So don't be disheartened. Even if it's been a year and you feel like you're not doing that well, everyone's Etsy shop takes off at different speeds. It just completely depends on what you sell and how much work you put into it. So I'd always suggest making sure you use all your characters in your title, tags. Really research what tags to use, so do some keyword research as well. For example, when I put my wall art listings on there, I don't just use the tag wall art or what it's called. For example, I don't just put just peachy wall art. I'll put fun bathroom print or fun kitchen print, retro kitchen print or retro typography, things like that. Think outside of the box. What might people be searching to find that product? They might not necessarily be wanting a print that says just peachy with 3 peaches on it. They just might want a little light-hearted fun bathroom or kitchen print. So use that within your tags as well. The last question is, do you rent a studio or work from home? So I work from home. I have converted my sister's old bedroom into my office because I'm currently at my mum and dad's house. But me and my boyfriend have recently bought a bungalow. We're doing it up at the minute and we should hopefully be moving in within the next month or so, hopefully. So when that's all finished, I will be obviously moving my office into our new house. So I might vlog that, might film that as well, the transition and setting up my new office studio and things like that. So that will be really fun. But yeah, I don't rent a studio, I just work from home. And that's all the questions that I got for this video, so I'm going to leave it there. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll be posting regularly, hopefully. I've got myself a camera now, which I'm trialing today, so hopefully I'll be getting a few more videos up really soon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully.